Now, the U.S. Supreme Court could soon end the nationwide legal right to abortion in the U.S. by overturning the landmark Roe v. Wade decision. That's according to a leaked draft opinion obtained by news outlet Politico. The unprecedented leak sent pro-choice and anti-abortion protesters rushing to the Supreme Court. The court has been considering challenges to state abortion laws, with a decision expected in June. And we can get more from our correspondent, Sumi Somaskanda, who's in Washington, D.C. Sumi, can you tell us more about this leak?
Anya, this really has unleashed an earthquake here in Washington. This news broke relatively late into the evening, and it immediately sent shockwaves, not just through the Capitol, but also well beyond across the country. As you said, this is unprecedented to see a draft majority opinion from the court leaked, and I think it really underlines the explosive nature of this case and what this ruling might mean. And I say might because we don't know who leaked this document. We don't know yet if it's authentic, and we haven't yet seen a comment from the Supreme Court. But what we have seen is protesters taking the streets in Washington in front of the Supreme Court, even though it's essentially the middle of the night, pro-choice and pro-life protesters facing off against each other. And we've also seen Democratic lawmakers on all of the major networks here raising the alarm bells over what they see as a fundamental undermining of rights. If this decision were to go ahead, Republican lawmakers, on the other hand, they are decrying the leak itself, saying it threatens the court's independence. So it would be a sweeping decision, and already is one that is having serious consequences, Anya.
Sumi, you've made clear that this is not a given, but if the court does overturn Roe versus Wade, now that would obviously have huge ramifications for abortion rights and for women across the U.S., wouldn't it?
That's right. And the impact, Anya, would be immediate. It means that women in many parts of the U.S. would not have access to an abortion. There are a number of Republican states that have something called trigger laws on the books. And that means that they have laws stating that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, abortions are immediately banned in those states. And if you look at what Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito, who, if this draft is authentic, what he wrote in his opinion, he says that this should be returned to the states, that they should decide. And we're seeing Democratic governors, lawmakers, as I said, they are saying that they will protect the right for women to have an abortion. So, Anya, what you could see is a map in the U.S. where you have Democratic states, blue states, that will allow abortions, conservative Republican states where it will be banned, and women in those states could have to travel hundreds of miles to access an abortion. And I just want to add that we have in many ways seen this coming. A lot of Republican states have already been rolling back the access to abortions. Oklahoma last week passing a law banning abortions after 6 weeks, and the former president, Donald Trump, also appointing 3 conservative justices to the Supreme Court, and that really shifted the balance of this court. So we're seeing that impact now.
Just briefly, Sumi, could I ask you, could this have implications for the midterm elections coming up this November?
Yeah, definitely for both parties. On the one hand, for the Republicans, they can sell this as a win. They have many conservative, socially conservative Republicans have been calling for this, campaigning for this since Roe v. Wade was passed in 1973, especially conservative Christians. On the other hand, it could galvanize Democratic and moderate voters. We know that President Biden Democrats are not particularly popular right now, so this could be something that drives them to the polls come November.
Sumi Somaskanda in Washington, D.C., thanks so much.